Hi everybody, we're gonna get started now that we have a really good crowd. Welcome, thank you all for coming. Good morning, I'm Kate Caraccio. I'm the director of the Westborough Public Library and the president of the Central Massachusetts Library Advocates. I want to thank you all for being here this morning and taking time to join us. I'm going to start by asking forgiveness. I did have to have emergency surgery on Friday. I'm down a gallbladder, but up a renewed sense of hope. Here we are. So just be kind. Be kind and get through it. This breakfast is always a reminder that libraries are not just buildings with books. They are community anchors. They are places where people of all ages come to learn, connect, and get help navigating an increasingly complex world. Here in Westborough, and really all across the state, the library is used every single day for families, students, seniors, job seekers, newcomers to our town. People come for early literacy programs, homework help, technology access, career support, and trusted information. They come because libraries are welcoming, free, and open to everyone. I want to share a short message I received yesterday from a Westborough resident. And this is not uncommon for libraries to get messages like this. We are a little bit spoiled. But I want to share it because it captures this more than I could ever about what the library means to people. And this is an email that I received. I just wanted to say thank you, especially to Rania, who made me feel welcomed and in a safe space. I have disabilities that make it difficult for me to be in public spaces and interact with people. So it has probably been 10 plus years since the last time I was in a library. Rania put me at ease very quickly with her friendly nature and helped me make what's a difficult situation for me more approachable. So again, a very big thank you to her and the rest of the staff. And that's the impact of a fully staffed and supported public library. Libraries are meant to be safe spaces for everyone, for people with disabilities, for immigrants, newcomers, for parents navigating early childhood, for teens, seniors, and anyone who needs a space to belong. Librarians work every day to protect that promise, and we will always fight hard for everyone's right to access our spaces, our programs, and reliable information without fear or barriers. We're grateful to the legislators with us this morning for taking time to listen and engage. Your support at the state level makes a real difference. Funding and policies that strengthen libraries allow communities like ours to respond to real needs on the ground. Usually when we host events like this, we're gathered in a newly renovated library, often after an MBLC building grant, when the work is finished and we can proudly show the end result. Those grants are transformative, and communities across the Commonwealth can point to them as turning points in their libraries. Our journey is a little different. We were fortunate to receive an MBLC building grant as well. Ultimately, the town voted against moving forward with that project, and we took a different path. The path brought us here today in a temporary space with a repair project ongoing, which should be finished by September. Please. But here we are inside an old repurposed Steinmart clothing store in the future home of the Westborough Community Center. We're getting there. Struggling, guys. I think there's real value in meeting here in this in-between moment. This is what public investment looks like before the ribbon cutting. It's adaptive, it's practical, and focused on continuing to serve residents while long-term plans take shape. Since that time, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners has put significant work into making the library building grant program more accessible and more responsive, so that communities can move faster and adapt more easily when circumstances change. Your support in that is critical, and continued investment in state aid to public libraries is what allows libraries to stay open, staffed, and responsive during these transitions. Libraries and communities don't pause when buildings are renovated or plans evolve. We adapt, we reuse, and we keep showing up for residents. Being here today is a reminder that the work you support doesn't just fund finished projects. It supports continuity, access, and service along the way. This morning is about conversation and connection. We appreciate the opportunity to share what we're seeing locally, to learn from one another, and to continue building strong support for libraries as an essential public structure. Thank you again for being here, for all of your partnership, and for your commitment to the people we all serve. We're glad you're with us this morning. And with that, I would like to introduce Tracy Smith-LaCroix from Westborough Connects. And finally, sit down. It's just a little sweaty.
I want to thank you guys for having me today. I'm very excited to be here. This is one of my favorite places in this community and in Westborough. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy LaCroix. My family and I moved to Westborough about 13 years ago. I currently have a 15-year-old son, a 13-year-old son, and a 10-year-old daughter. And while the way we use the library and the time we spend here has changed over the years, it has always remained a big part of our connection to the community. When people think about the library, they often think about books. And boy, does this place have them, as you can all see here. And if they don't, interlibrary loan's been great. We use that quite often here. I actually think I have a book over there that I'm going to check out before I leave. But our experience with our local library is much more than that. It's a place of connection, access, and belonging. Our library has truly been a sanity saver for my family and very much for me. When we first moved to town, we didn't know anyone. My husband worked late, traveled tons, and I found myself in a new place with two very young kids and very few adults to talk to. But based on my experience with other communities, I knew exactly where to go. Within the first few weeks of moving to Westborough, I headed straight to the library, knowing it would be a place to meet people, meet other kids, meet other moms, and connect and feel grounded. I couldn't wait to see what this library had to offer my family. We checked out museum passes multiple times to explore a new area, and over the years, we tried just about every pass that they have here. We tried many programs, story time, music programs, yoga, STEM programs. And when summer rolled around every year, we were here to partake in the summer reading program. Then in March of 2019, the Room of Things opened. What an amazing concept. A room filled with outdoor games, hot spots, cooking and gardening tools, and so much more. A place that you can take out more than just books is what this library has become. The library keeps evolving to meet real everyday needs in our community. And I'll let you guess who the very first patron was to walk through those doors of Room of Things. You can Google me, I'm on the Facebook page, my daughter, just saying. As many of you know, I also work for a company called Westborough Connects. For those of you that are not familiar with us, we are a nonprofit organization with a goal to build a more connected community. We collaborate with community partners and organizations on programs and initiatives that connect people to each other, the resources they need, and the community they live in. We are incredibly grateful for our partnership with the library. They not only collaborate with us on our Square One work, but they also actively participate in and host events as part of many of our programs. Just this past November, during our Kindness Week, I had the opportunity to attend their intergenerational game night. It was wonderful to see kids, older adults, sitting side by side, playing games, talking, laughing, and truly connecting with one another. I can go on and on about this place, and only have really named a fraction of the things that this library does. But I'm sure many of you know the wonderful things about this library, which is why you are here today. So thank you to our leadership that has showed up today. Thank you to our librarians for all that you do. I truly believe that our community is stronger because of you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about one of our town's greatest establishments.
Okay. I think I'm next. Okay. I didn't know if I was waiting for a fancy intro. I like holding the microphone. It makes me feel like I should be singing or some kind of. No, you don't want that. I saw someone roll. Yeah, you rolled your eyes. You're absolutely right. You don't want that. Okay, so Hi everyone, my name is Vicky Biancolo and I am currently the chair of the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. And I want to thank Kate and your staff so much for hosting this breakfast and having invited me to speak. Thank you so much. And of course, volunteers, trustees, friends, and patrons, people who are here today, thank you. And especially our elected and appointed officials who are here for making the time to be here today. It's so important and really appreciate it. I do want to point out a couple of people in the audience. So there's some MBLC staff here if you have questions. Maureen Amiat right here, our director, Rob Favini right back there, and then Jess Colati who's sitting in the back way over there. So if you have questions later, please look them up. And especially thank you, Senator Moore, Representative Donaghue, and thank you for Representative Kane too for sending I didn't get to say hello yet, but hi, for being here. Representative Donaghue, apologies because you're going to hear a lot of what you heard already from me in Framingham when we,
That's okay.
It's okay?
Important words.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, so we have a lot to talk about today, and I hope you all have a copy of our legislative agenda that was at the desk because that's really my my agenda, my speaking agenda as well. It all starts at the library. And so our Massachusetts libraries help make life in Massachusetts affordable. For individuals and families who are working to stay within their budgets, free programs, family events, learning opportunities at the library offer real relief. So every dollar saved by borrowing a book, an ebook, an audiobook, a Chromebook, like things at Westborough, right? You can borrow a Chromebook, you can borrow a sewing machine, colorblind glasses, I saw. Hello. An MP3, like a cassette MP3 converter. So much more. And every dollar that is freed up for groceries on the table. Our libraries build literacy, confidence, and connection from early childhood through the teen years, through Lapsit story times, Mother Goose on the Loose, bilingual story times, Read to a Therapy Dog, teen anime, STEAM, and Girls Who Code programs, and so much more. For many people, laptops and tablets aren't affordable, but libraries bridge that gap by lending devices along with Wi-Fi hotspots and professional help to use to those materials. Libraries across the Commonwealth are digitizing historical records, preserving our history and making it available to everyone. Our libraries support job seekers. And here in Westborough, I think I saw that you can connect with Job Seekers Networking Group, right? Yes, which is just one example of how libraries help people develop new relationships, skills, and strategies for career transition. Did you know that through the Library for the Commonwealth, funded through the MBLC, you can actually get a high school diploma for free? Non-traditional library services are filling the gaps caused by eroding safety nets. Libraries help patrons with benefits applications, food resources, housing, employment, and some public libraries have even hired full-time social workers to help with those needs. Our libraries are places of welcome and support for immigrants, with English and citizenship classes, conversation circles, connections to social service agencies. Our libraries lend integrative assistive technology to patrons with disabilities. So people can find essential tools such as wheelchairs and eyeglasses, but also advanced technologies such as screen readers and cutting-edge AI-assisted screen interpreters. And of course, books, right? Research shows conclusively that reading for enjoyment is the best way to nurture lifelong readers and help people get hooked on reading. Now, we all know that for 9 months out of the year, you may know, schools are the primary source of reading materials for students, for kids, right? Yet across the Commonwealth, 40% of students are without a licensed school librarian. 40%, right? Leaving students and educators without a co-teacher support in reading, research skills, and media, digital, and information literacy. And did you know that just over 50% of Westborough students, these are kids who live in this community, just over 50% in 4th grade read at grade level. That means almost half the kids in Westborough are not reading at grade level. And this is for 4th graders, so this is post-COVID. We're no longer talking about COVID gaps, okay? And that's common across the state. And I'm not picking on Westborough here, by any means. And libraries, especially public libraries, are the key to solving lagging literacy rates. Librarians connect people with stories that help them fall in love with reading. And it's in times of hardship and uncertainty, which I think we can all agree we're in. Yes? Okay. That even more people turn to libraries, which is why we're experiencing an all-time high of more than 65 million items checked out last year. People of all ages, abilities, backgrounds are going to library events, so that with attendance rates have jumped 35% last year. The usage of ebooks has skyrocketed by more than 300% in the last decade. And just as more and more people turn to libraries, funding for libraries is being cut. Right? Earlier this year, due to interruptions in federal funding, the MBLC was forced to make cuts to statewide services. Last year, 22 municipalities had to resort to budget overrides to fund basic library operations. This spring, several libraries faced drastic local cuts or closure. And we're in a tough spot, to be sure. The Trump administration's attempted shuttering of the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is a major funding source for libraries, is impacting people directly, of course, by holding that money, right? But also indirectly, by causing states to make up budget shortfalls by redirecting funds that might otherwise go to, like libraries, say. And at the same time, cities and towns are struggling to meet exploding health insurance and school costs. So libraries are in the middle of this perfect funding storm. Now, the IMLS funds have been released, as far as we know, for this year. But those programs had been dismantled, and it takes a while to build them back up again, right? And we, of course, don't know what's coming in the future, by any means. So at the MBLC, we know that at the moment, our legislators are being asked to do what librarians have been asked to do all too often, which is more with less. Yes, librarians, do you agree with me? We do more with less. Yes, I see it back at the desk. Yes, we have. We understand the pressures that lawmakers are under to make what is just not quite enough money to go as far as it can. And we are trying to balance our understanding for this impossible task with getting for our libraries, our residents, what they need. However, we've maxed out doing more with less at the MBLC. If the MBLC budget is cut, we will lose programs. So to keep pace with ever-increasing costs, we're asking for a modest 3% cost of living increase in every one of our line items, except for one. And even in this difficult economic year, the MBLC is prioritizing local aid to libraries by requesting an increase of 5% for our state aid to public libraries program line 7,095.01. That's on your legislative agenda. This is critical, unrestricted, and direct local aid. This money goes directly to libraries. And they can use it to maintain their services. They can use it for whatever they need. It has a massive impact across the Commonwealth, with 347 out of 351 municipalities certified in the program and receiving this funding. So for libraries and millions of people who depend on them, it's a lifeline, and I mean that quite literally. Research shows that libraries help people feel safe, improve well-being, foster connection, right? Other speakers have said quite clearly, when we support libraries, we're investing in safer neighborhoods and healthier lives, which help build stronger, more resilient communities. And isn't that the goal, right? Literacy grants us knowledge and helps us access our imagination. Knowledge and imagination give us power, and with that power, we have the capacity to effect positive change. Without it, what's left is ignorance and intolerance. So in 2023, shifting gears a little bit, in 2023, there were more than 2,000 complaints and attempted book bans reported in Massachusetts public libraries. So this is in our state. And nearly 25% of school and public librarians reported being harassed on social media. It's widely assumed, of course, that these numbers are vastly underreported. These are the ones that are reported, right? And make no mistake, banning books is not about protecting children. These attempts to ban books are skirmishes in a war over the very foundational ideals of our country. In 2024, 72%, I'm going to say that again, 72% of book challenges, so these attempts to ban books, came from organizational movements and government entities. 72%. Book banning is less an issue of moral beliefs and concerns, but rather one of autocracy. So we're at a crossroads right now, deciding what kind of country we want to be. I think that's pretty clear, right, to all of us? From the quiet removal of books from a library catalog to overt political campaigns against librarians, censorship efforts strike at the very heart of the First Amendment. When censorship wins, it's not only individual titles that disappear from shelves, it's entire communities of readers, learners, and citizens who lose their voice. The freedom to read is inseparable from the health of our democracy. So libraries are not luxuries, nor are they partisan pawns, but are public institutions serving the common good. Right? Knowing this, in November, our Massachusetts State Senate passed S2696. I knew I was going to get that wrong. 2696, an act regarding free expression. And this bill will fortify the freedom to read and the protection of librarians and teachers during attempts to ban books and materials. Thank you. I want to thank publicly Senators Julian Sear and Jake Olivera for their leadership in passing the bill. Thank you, Senator Moore, for your vote over there. Thank you. This law will protect you. So you can decide what you and your children will read. And also in November, the Senate passed S2710, an act addressing challenges facing public libraries and digital resource collections. Appreciation and thanks also go for this bill to Library Legislative Caucus co-chair Senator Paul Feeney for championing this bill. Thank you, Senator Moore, which I think needs actually some explanation. I have a visual aid here to help me with this. So for many people, ebooks and audiobooks aren't just a preference, they're a necessity. Thousands of students, people with dyslexia depend on audiobooks. For people with disabilities, ebooks and audiobooks keep them reading and connected to the world around them, right? When a library buys a physical book, so say this, Stephen King fans, buys a physical book, it can be loaned as many times as it can until it falls apart or it's no longer relevant to the collection, right? Libraries actually don't purchase ebooks and audiobooks. We license them. And licenses have limits, okay? We can't license them, and also libraries cannot license books from the same retailers that a consumer can. And yet, like an average person, you go, right? We have to use library distributors,
Licenses.
Thank you. Yeah, vendors, people who sell to libraries. Thank you. Right, so, and publishers often charge libraries much more than what a consumer would pay for the same content with even more restrictive licenses. So, for example, you as a consumer, I have to do this with two hands. Actually, can you help me for a moment? I do. To make this an effective visual aid, I need Director Amiat. Okay, so I want you to hold this. Okay? All right. So, for example, okay, so if you want to download this book, Stephen King book, you may do so. In fact, at Audible for free right now, with a free trial. You can get it for free. A library is $130. And that's for a 24-month license. So, and like physical books on the shelf, this book is one user at a time. And the license expires after 24 months. So after 24 months, if a library wants to keep this book on the shelf, they need to buy it again and again, okay? Even worse. Stephen King fans, if you want to read Night Shift, again, as a consumer, you can download this for free right now from Audible and read to your heart's content. A library cannot buy this at all. This is not available to libraries. This is you, this is libraries. So, thank you so much, Anna. Appreciate that. And libraries simply can't afford to keep pace with demand. So, S2710 would end the predatory pricing of ebooks for libraries. Okay? Both of these bills have moved to the House and are currently in committee. So please, contact your representatives in the House and ask them to do what they can to take up and pass these essential pieces of legislation. And ugliness is sweeping our country. our beautiful country, and it must stop. Resistance takes many forms, and one of them is taking action to support public libraries, which every day are stepping in to help people in a way that other organizations cannot, are not, will not. So please help us. We can rely on your continued advocacy. And I don't want to leave you on a down note. I think that we're going to win this. So, but all of your help is much appreciated. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for letting me talk through this very lengthy explanation.
Thanks, Vicky. Next, I'm going to invite Jeanette Lungren up for CW Mars, Executive Director.
Good morning. Probably a lot of you are familiar, hopefully, with CW Mars. We are the largest library network in Massachusetts. Our mission and the reason we were founded was to provide technology for our member libraries so that they can share their resources and enhance access for their communities. I'd like to take just a few minutes this morning to talk about one of the lines on the legislative agenda, line 9506, and that is the one that funds library technology and resource sharing and goes to the automated networks like CW Mars. We use this line primarily to offset some of our operating costs and keep our membership affordable for all of our libraries that are members. Our membership has been growing. We are at 167 member libraries throughout central and western Massachusetts, and this is the highest it's ever been. This year, we welcome 2 new small rural communities in Peru and Worthington, Massachusetts. Over the last 5 years, we've added over 20 new small libraries. And our membership includes a lot of the boroughs, Westborough, Northborough, Southborough, Marlborough, and I think Worcester's here, and there may be some other libraries here as well. A lot of libraries in this area that are sharing resources. One thing I wanted to note that in 2025, so last year, we send out a satisfaction survey every year to our members and ask, how are we doing? And over 98% of our member libraries said they were satisfied or very satisfied with their membership in CW Mars. And membership in CW Mars provides libraries with 5 key benefits. One is shared content, again, our mission around resource sharing. We have over 9 million items that can easily be borrowed by any patron with a CW Mars library card. This content includes physical items, books, DVDs, magazines, as well as electronic books, ebooks, and audiobooks. And in 2025, our library saw over 13 million checkouts. The other thing membership in CW Mars does is provide online access to the library. We provide technology so that patrons can sign up online for a library card. We have a CW Mars e-card. They can renew their library cards online. They can use apps such as Libby for ebooks and audiobooks, as well as access our online catalog to search and place holds and manage checkouts through their account. What you might not know is CW Mars also provides a lot of technical support to our libraries. We manage software upgrades, we provide training, documentation, testing, troubleshooting to our member libraries for all of the technology and services that we provide through membership. This includes the staffed help desk with access to live humans that library staff can contact with technical issues or questions, no matter how big or how small. CW Mars provides a big cost savings for libraries. They're able to save money by offering consortium-wide software and services that can provide significant savings if all the libraries had to subscribe individually or support them on their own. It also includes administration time for us to negotiate some group contracts and pricing, and we also file for grants through the state and the government and E-rate discounts on behalf of our members. One of the big things that CW Mars provides to our library and that you've heard a lot about so far this morning is connection and community. CW Mars is kind of special in that way. We have a real culture of belonging where we value all of our members, no matter how big or how small. And this has really fostered collaboration, engagement, and connection throughout the libraries of CW Mars. These connections have been so important and really strengthened over the last few years, with libraries facing many stressors, from COVID to content challenges, now to funding concerns. While we're the largest library network, it's very important to note that our members include many small and rural libraries. In fact, 69% of CW Mars public library members are from small, very small, or tiny rural communities. 109 of our libraries serve communities under 10,000, and of that, 74 serve communities under 5,000, and we have 18 libraries serving populations under 1,000. As Vicky mentioned, we are poised to be entering a perfect storm of funding challenges, which may affect local, state, and federal libraries. And it's primarily these small libraries of Massachusetts who may be the most vulnerable. Membership in CW Mars is affordable thanks to Line 9506 funding, which helps offset our costs for member libraries. Many of our libraries use 9501, which is state aid, which is the line that we're kind of prioritizing this year, to help pay for their membership in CW Mars. And state funding is really going to be critical for our members to be able to weather the next few years, remain open, maintain membership in CW Mars, and continue serving their communities with all these wonderful programs and services that they are providing and that are highlighted throughout the legislative agenda and handouts. So I just wanted to thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, Jeanette. And I can't say how much CW Mars helped us move to this space. It was a huge undertaking, and we'll need you when we move back. Your job's not done yet. All right, I'm going to introduce Jessie Trowbridge from Message of the Book.
Hi, I'm Jessie Trowbridge, and I'm honored to be speaking here today as a member of the Board of Directors for the Massachusetts Center for the Book, but also as a children's librarian at the Beeman Memorial Library in West Boylston, and as a parent of 2 insatiable teen readers. And as a side note, my kids are among that 40% who are growing up in a community with no school librarians, and it is definitely a big challenge in our community as well. We know that this has been a difficult year for libraries. Municipal budgets are under real pressure. Federal cuts have been trickling down to the local level, and many of you are fighting to maintain the services your communities rely on. We see that at the Center for the Book, and we stand with you. That is why the Mass Center for the Book strongly supports the FY27 legislative priorities. Flexible, reliable library funding is essential, not only for the health of our library ecosystem, but for the vitality and resilience of our communities. For those who may not yet be familiar with the Mass Center for the Book, let me offer a brief introduction. I had not heard of it myself until I joined. So we were founded in 2000 as the Massachusetts affiliate of the Library of Congress, and we develop and support programming with statewide impact, operate youth and family literacy initiatives, and represent the Commonwealth at the National Book Festival and in Library of Congress initiatives. 2 of our longest standing programs are the Massachusetts Book Awards and Letters About Literature, which is our youth writing initiative, which has engaged tens of thousands of students in 4th through 12th grade since the early 2000s. Libraries are at the heart of everything that we do, and our programs also rely upon close collaboration. Thank you all, especially our libraries, for hosting events with us, running our programs, for welcoming our authors, and for helping us get books in the hands of young readers. The challenges we face together are real: rising apathy, excess screen time, and the fracturing of community. Rates of pleasure reading are in free fall, and reading scores are declining for our young people. But in spite of these trends, we're proud to say that we have reached tens of thousands of readers of all ages over the past year and partnered with hundreds of public and school libraries. While our funding has remained flat for the past 3 years, our programming has grown substantially. So a couple of things that the Mass Center for the Book has been doing in the last few years, and some of these may be familiar to you if you are a frequent library flyer. So in 2023, we started our Adult Reading Challenge, which you may be seeing these Reading Challenge cards. This is for our Adult Reading Challenge program. So this reading promotion program now operates in partnership with over 200 libraries, bookstores, and senior centers across Massachusetts. In 2025, we distributed over 20,000 sets of materials in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So another side note, my mom recently told me that she has joined, she may have started, I'm not sure, a book club that is all focused on the reading challenges. So every month she and her friends get together and they read a book on one of the challenges. So for January, it's a book about or set in winter. And what I love about this is I don't really remember my mom being a big reader for herself when I was growing up. She was just really, really busy. And I think that the way that she interacts with us now is as an audiobook listener on Libby. So she's like a master weaver. She's always at her loom and she's doing all these projects. So she needs something to listen to while she's weaving. So this is what she does, and then she's got this really fun book group that she does every month. So keeps her active, keeps her engaged with her community and with her friends, which I love. We also launched our Student Reading Challenge. So that one looks like this. This one I have a personal love for because I have lots of readers in my program at the West Boylston Library. Really excited about this challenge. So if you're interested for January, the month is a book that has a character whose job you like to try. And this year we had 150 school and public library partners and distributed 14,000 sets of materials. In 2023, we launched our statewide literacy events calendar, which gives libraries, bookstores, museums, and cultural organizations the chance to publicize their events and offers readers the opportunity to discover exciting author talks near them. Thousands of events are featured on the calendar each year. In 2024, we kicked off Great Reads Massachusetts. This is a one-read program that distributes book boxes and discussion guides to dozens of Mass libraries and community centers, fostering community conversations around important books and issues. The call for partners goes out each spring, so please be on the lookout on all regions. And in 2025, we launched our Mass Book Awards Speakers Bureau, which offers communities of all shapes and sizes the opportunity to host recent book award winners for engaging author events. We cover speakers' fees and help host the promotions. 20 events were held in our first year out, and more fun is in store for 2026. We also started a collaboration with GBH Kids and Mass Library System, distributing 1,500 English and Spanish book language kits to 67 libraries across the state to jumpstart early literacy work. And on the horizon, we have just started an early literacy pilot with WIC providers, recognizing that all Massachusetts residents, not all Massachusetts residents are library users yet. We are working to reach families where they are. In partnership with WIC sites, we're distributing age-appropriate books, educating caregivers about the importance of reading to their little ones, and connecting families to their home libraries and to literacy resources in their communities. We have built tremendous momentum, and it has been gratifying to reach more readers than ever before. We're proud of our ability to stretch every dollar, but we have our limits. Costs are rising across the board, and we can't continue to do more with less. That is why I'm asking for your continued advocacy for line 7000 through 9508 today. Your support will help sustain MCB's statewide literacy work in fiscal year 2027, and together we can ensure that libraries remain strong, that communities remain connected, and that books continue to change lives across Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we are partners, so if you're interested in any of those challenges, any one of our desks you can grab one at. And I'm going to introduce Jack Martin from the Massachusetts Library System. Come up and speak there.
Thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Martin. I'm the Communications Manager at the Massachusetts Library System, or MLS as you will hear me refer to it. Thank you to the Westborough Public Library for hosting this morning's event, and thank you to our elected officials for your continued advocacy on behalf of the important work libraries do. MLS is a state-supported nonprofit funded by line 709401. Our mission is to empower libraries across the Commonwealth through innovative and responsive services, and we support the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners' legislative agenda. Our core values are member focus, equitable access, and building community. Through these guiding principles, MLS acts as a critical resource for over 1,500 libraries in Massachusetts. Libraries rely on us to build community around new ideas, establish best practices, healthy engagement, and respectful dialogue, as well as access to trustworthy materials, training, expertise, and learning services. In collaboration with library networks and Optima Shipping, our delivery service ensures patrons have timely access to library materials from across the state. This past fiscal year alone, we delivered 12.4 million items across Massachusetts. This service is especially crucial for small communities, providing their patrons with equitable access to materials beyond the shelves of their local library. We provide digital content like ebooks and audiobooks to school libraries through the Overdrive K-12 Shared Sora collection, where Massachusetts students have access to over 75,000 unique titles. Our program ranks second in the United States and second in the world in total circulations for K-12 shared collections, with over 2.8 million circulations in FY25. Last fiscal year, we introduced a new over-the-phone interpretation service for public libraries. With a quick phone call, library staff can connect patrons to interpretation in over 240 languages, guaranteeing access to library services regardless of the language someone speaks. Building the skills and knowledge of our member library staff remains a key priority for MLS. In FY25, we awarded 133 scholarships for staff to attend conferences relevant to their positions or library career aspirations. We also provided 465 grants for staff to pursue learning opportunities provided by national library vendors. Our team of consultants travel to libraries across the state and offer virtual consultations to our members at no cost. They lead trainings and host community chats on relevant library topics to meet the learning needs of our member library staff. Your support of our work is crucial, now more than ever, especially as federal funding cuts are affecting local Massachusetts communities. Earlier this fiscal year, MLS and the MBLC were forced to reduce our statewide database offerings due to, at the time, the elimination of funding from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. During these uncertain times, we rely on your continued advocacy on behalf of our organization and the libraries in our state. With your support, MLS will remain the trusted resource and collaborator that our libraries rely on to serve their communities. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm going to go just slightly out of order, and I'm going to have Kate Donaghue come up, our local representative.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Yesterday I had a conflict which had me leaving right at 9:30, but my schedule changed. That event got postponed. But thank you for keeping my schedule in mind. I'm glad that I'm actually going first because I did want to take a second to acknowledge the members of our library trustees who are here. Unless I missed anyone, we've got Mike Carr, Janine Mindrum, Mary Johnson, Deb Cushman, and Mary Christensen. I'd like a round of applause for all of them. I did see Sarah Samshudan on the school committee. We are not one of those school systems that does not have a librarian, so I want to acknowledge all the work, and I hope I didn't miss any other elected officials who are here. And I did want to thank everybody who's taken the time to speak and all of the residents who are here. I will say that one of the issues that we do, I shouldn't speak for my colleagues, but that I do hear from some of my constituents about is the book banning issue. I hear from constituents who are very passionate about how they want more book banning. It's kind of incredible the some of the letters that we receive. I'll just leave it at that. But I want to say that I very much recognize the important role libraries play in people's lives. I moved to Westborough more than 50 years ago, and I've seen the library evolve. I've seen the kind of things that are offered evolve, that things that Kate, Tracy, Vicky, Jeanette, Jessie, and Jack have all talked about, from borrowing puzzles to the different levels of electronic technology. And I understand the challenges of, I hear a lot from my librarian friends, including Maureen and now Kate, about ebooks and licenses. And although I'm not on the committee that hears that bill, because of the book banning bill, which I watched that hearing offline, I had another hearing at the time, but one of the things that the State House now does is all hearings are available. So I was able to watch this hearing afterwards. I went to it specifically for what Westborough had asked me to look at, and ended up also learning a lot about the challenges of ebooks and the challenges of getting them licensed. In terms of stories, my mom and dad took us to libraries, and back when I was a young child, we walked to and from school, right past the library. And my older brother modeled extensive reading. When I was in second grade, my brother was in fourth grade. I think this is when it happened. It's a long time ago. But they would limit the kids to 7 books a day. I think maybe he was a little younger. But every day he would take out 7 books, and then he would return them the next day. And on this particular week, the library was only open one night a week, and my family took us there. He had read all 7 books, wanted to bring them back and get another 7 books. And the librarians were saying, no, that's not allowed. And my parents had to convince them that my brother had actually read all 7 books from the time he had taken them out after school until the time he went back, until the time that he went back, 7 that night. And my parents won, and I think that it's a testament to how my parents encouraged us to read. And I don't have too much more to say than that. I do want to, again, thank everybody for being here. And should I turn it right over to Senator Moore, or is there a different?
Go for it.
Senator, you're next. Thank you very much. Senator Mike Moore, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see everyone. And thank you for mentioning the legislation that the Senate has passed in support of our libraries. And hopefully Kate will steer the House in the right direction and bring them on board.
Working on it, Senator, working on it.
Not bad news, but I wish I could get up here and say, look, the budget's great, and your 5%'s in the bank. But, so right now, the legislature, Ways and Means, the House and Senate should start having the budget hearings coming up, where they'll look at the revenue estimates and consensus budgets and try to determine what we have available for money. I mean, we were just talking back there that, if Massachusetts, if we were looking at a federal government that was consistent with past spending and past precedent as far as how they were going to support certain line items, would actually be in pretty good shape. Massachusetts, the budget right now, we got a balanced budget, in theory. The thing that we're looking at right now is we don't know with this, I think you all saw with the Affordable Care Act, otherwise the Obamacare tax subsidies, that they were, with the continuing resolution that was made, they didn't fund those subsidies. So that left a big budget gap for us. It's roughly between about $1.6 billion for the healthcare. They also, in that, they changed some corporate tax language, which Massachusetts has a coupling. That means we have similar tax provisions as the federal government in certain corporate tax filings. Well, when they made some changes in the continuing resolution, some of the areas that were coupled with the federal language, there was another $600 million of tax cuts. So, I mean, we could probably go back and change that just by, when we do the budget, decoupling from the federal language. So, I mean, just right there, we're looking at $2.3 billion as a funding issue. Now, if we saw federally that the House actually finally stood up and rebuked the Trump administration, and they forced Speaker Johnson to go back in and vote on the tax subsidies, so the health subsidies, and they were able to pass that. So now, if the Senate would be able to do that, and then send that to the president, we would, obviously would have to hope that he wouldn't veto it. But that would provide a lot of relief for us, as far as possible budget pressures for us. So, if the budget was just based on Massachusetts revenues and our economic, all the indicators, right now we're okay. So that when the budget process comes up, I know 3% or 5% doesn't sound like a lot of money, but there's a big question mark because of Washington. And we don't even know, based on what's going on, will the administration be forced to do 9C cuts at some point? We have no idea. So I wish I had better news for you as far as that goes. But I can tell you is that going back to, I was on the Board of Selectmen in Millbury for 8 years, and there really is, I think in the general public, maybe it's dissipating, but there really is a misunderstanding on libraries and the services that you provide. I remember back when my kids were young, our child care provider used to take our kids to the library for all the services that they provide. We have people that can use the libraries that don't have access to computers, that they come here, they use the computer access, they look for jobs, there's other community events. And actually, we actually have a national crisis right now with people in loneliness. So people not interacting. Senior centers and libraries are key in trying to get people interacting again. And I will say, and we were talking about this, I am going into my 16th year, and every year I try to come to the library legislative breakfast. I'm going to say shame on the library system. This is the first time I've heard about your GED program.
It's a pretty new program.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just said when you were talking about that, I was like, I never knew you had that program.
Isn't it great?
It is.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
And it's
So-
not a GED, it's an actual high school diploma.
Oh, okay.
So
All right,
it's even better.
so even better.
Even better,
So,
yeah.
so how long has the program been in existence?
Like 2 or 3 years?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it's really
Oh,
only been a
okay.
few years.
Through the Boston Public Library.
Through the Library for the Commonwealth.
So just, just in discussion, with the fair share money that the voters passed, that's the millionaire's tax?
Isn't that, I think so, yeah?
Yeah, so I don't know if that could be a revenue source to fund that
Could
program.
be.
Yeah.
It hasn't been.
Yeah.
But it's something you could look at in the future.
Yeah.
But, so I just want to thank.
Yeah, we can talk offline.
So, thank you for inviting me, and really even the Center for Books, I didn't really have it, didn't know about that program. So this has actually been one of the more informative legislative breakfasts I've gone to about different programs that the libraries offer. The C.W. Myers program is an excellent program. My family uses that. My wife uses that to get books. So it really is a great efficient way to use tax dollars and support the system. And hopefully, again, the House will act upon some of the great ideas that the Senate has passed on, that has come from the Library Board of Trustees. But thank you all for being here, and please, my door is always open to assist you. Thank you.
All right, and now I'm going to welcome up Kerry, Shea, Legislative Aide to Representative Hannah Kane.
Good morning, and thank you to our host for facilitating this breakfast and inviting Representative Kane and I. Unfortunately, the representative is not able to attend due to an unplanned family commitment, but she sends her best wishes and gratitude to all who work in and support libraries. As you may already know, libraries are of significant importance to Representative Kane and her family. Her aunt and uncle were librarians in the Portland and South Portland, Maine libraries near where Kane grew up, and she would walk to her local library with her mother and grandmothers nearly every week. Her school library, where she discovered the Nancy Drew series in 5th grade, also fostered her love of reading. All these libraries formed her lifelong connection to being an enthusiastic library supporter. Representative support for libraries also continues to this day. Her husband's mother has been involved in her local library in Marlborough, and when the representative's 3 children were young, they enjoyed checking out books to read at Grandpa and Grandma's house. And for years, her daughter Caitlin enjoyed helping out her mother-in-law at the annual library book sale in Marlborough. The role a library plays in shaping our next generation's minds cannot be overstated. Libraries serve as a place of connection and gathering, offer exposure to exciting new topics, and allow our children to exercise their natural curiosity, all of which builds a strong, shared community. As a state representative and member of the Legislative Library Caucus, Representative Kane recognizes this and always strives to protect the livelihood and resources of our community libraries. The fiscal year 2024 state budget included an earmark in funding that allowed the Shrewsbury Public Library to reupholster the furniture in the children's room, helping the library provide a high-quality space for the town's young residents. And in Westborough, the representative has been happy to support the Library Foundation and Friends of the Library. As we know, the Westborough Public Library is undergoing repairs and renovations that will help us serve the town for many years to come. The work includes new study rooms, repairs to aging physical infrastructure, and improvements to spaces for teens and children. As the renovation progresses, the representative and I look forward to the day when this much-needed project is completed and Westborough residents will be able to enjoy the improved library. Thank you to those here today from the Commonwealth's various libraries. Your dedication to the community and important work does not go unnoticed, and we are confident that libraries will continue to be a valued, special community treasure. Rep. Kane wants you to know that she will always be a strong supporter and advocate for the funding that keeps libraries a vital part of our communities. Thank you.
All right, just in closing, we've made it. Thank you guys all for being patient, listening about all the things that we care about every single day and that we're so passionate about. The fact that everybody is here in these seats today speaks to how important our libraries are to everybody here in town. So I want to say thank you directly to our legislators for joining us this morning and taking time to listen, engage, and support libraries and communities across the Commonwealth. Thank you to the speakers and the partners who shared their perspectives and helped ground our conversation in real experience and impact. I also want to thank the Westborough Public Library trustees, our friends, our library building committee for their ongoing leadership, advocacy, and support here in the middle of this huge project. We definitely need them. I definitely lean on them. Your work makes days like today possible. And most of all, I want to thank the Westborough Public Library staff and all library workers across the state. You are the reason libraries are welcoming, trusted, and safe spaces for so many people every single day. Your care, professionalism, and commitment to community are what truly bring our mission to life. Thank you all for being here, for the conversations that we've shared, and for your continued partnership. Safe travels. We hope to see you again. If anybody wants a tour of this Steinmart, let me know. I'll be over here, and I'll be happy to show you all of the fitting rooms and changing areas and what we've done to the old place. So thank you very much for joining us.